So have you ever been in a situation where you got into an accident that's not your fault? Let's say someone rear-ended you. They say, oh, you know what, here's my phone number. I'll give you my insurance information and my insurance will take care of it. They'll cover it. You call them 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes later, and they don't answer. Then you call them again and again and again, and they don't answer. And you realize that you got you got played, and they're basically trying to avoid their insurance covering this claim. They're going to pretend that they weren't even there, that this accident didn't even happen. And unfortunately, now you have the short end of the stick where you're gonna have to get your own insurance to cover this. And you're gonna have to pay your own deductible simply because you didn't get the appropriate information and collect the appropriate documents to make sure that your injury, to make sure that your car insurance damage is covered. So what I'm going to do is explain to you the 10 things that you need to do if you're ever in an accident, especially one that is not your fault. Number one, you want to call 911. That's the first thing that you do. And the reason why is that the call is recorded. It shows that there was an emergency that happened, and it shows that you called 911 because you were in an emergency situation. So when you call 911, these calls are recorded. If you later want to pursue a claim against this other driver, you want to make sure that you collect the 911 call, or you request the 911 call, so that the call, the incident, what you told that 911 operator, all of that is recorded to show that you were actually experiencing an accident and an emergency situation. Then the second thing that you want to do is check for injuries. Usually the 911 call operator will ask you, have you been injured? Is anyone in your car injured, right? In this particular situation, especially if the 911 call operator is asking you if you've been injured, you want to make sure that you assess yourself, assess your body for injuries. Most of the time, you are injured. A lot of people actually say, no, I'm not injured. It doesn't matter whether you're bleeding, whether you have blood, gushing from your head. It doesn't matter if you see scrapes or bruises immediately. You just want to assess, are you in any level of pain? Did you experience any level of pain? If you did, then you are injured, but you just have to determine the extent of your injuries. Most of the time people hit their head, or they hit a body part in the vehicle, or maybe their back was twisted a certain way. Whatever the situation is, you can tell that 911 operator, yes, this is what happened. My back was hurt, my back was injured, I hit my head briefly against the dashboard. Whatever the situation is, you can express that without you necessarily having cuts or bruises or lacerations of any kind. But it's important that especially if you're calling a 911 operator and that call is being recorded, to the extent that you have injuries, say it immediately so that is recorded in the event that you're going to need to pursue a claim later. All right. And so number two is you want to assess for injury. If someone else is in your vehicle and they're injured, you may need to help them, or someone may need to help you, depending on the extent of injuries. Usually a 911 call operator can walk you through that to the extent that you follow this and you actually call 911. The next thing that you want to do is now speak to the driver of the vehicle that hit you. You want to get the ID card of the driver. Don't let them give you the phone number, right? And don't let them give you their email address. Get the ID card. They should have a government issued ID card. I don't want to see their work ID or their employee ID card, but specifically their government issued ID card. That will tell you where they live, what their name is, their government name is. You should not be getting their nicknames or just their phone number. You want to get their actual ID card and take a picture of that so that in the event that something happens, you have it documented that this was the actual driver of the vehicle. Now, number four, now that you have the driver's ID card, the next thing that you want to do is get the vehicle registration of the vehicle that hit you. Most of the time it's in the glove box or somewhere in the vehicle. They really should have it there. There are people that maybe they've renewed their registration for the vehicle and they forgot to put the renewal paperwork in their car. But ultimately it's usually in the glove box or maybe somewhere in the center console of the vehicle. And I have seen people put their vehicle registration in other parts of their vehicle. Just ask them for it and see if they have it. Now, number 5 on the list is get their insurance information. You want to get their insurance card. If they have insurance, they should be able to have that insurance card in their vehicle, and they should really carry it in their car. Some people will say, oh, well, I don't have it, I have to pull it up online. Tell them to pull it up online, right? Don't wait for them to provide this to you later. Have them pull it up online immediately. If they can't access their insurance card online, not a problem. Have them at least give you the name of their insurance carrier, their car insurance provider, and then you can always figure out the policy number for their insurance later down the line, but at least get some information initially. Now, if they don't carry insurance, then that's a separate issue, and I can always address that in a separate video, but they should have insurance. And if they don't have insurance, if the police come out, the police should be able to document this as well. Number 6, you want to get the description of the vehicle. Make sure that you get the make, model, year, the color of the vehicle. You want to get as much detail as possible. And that brings me to number 7. And so number 7 is you want to get the license plate on the vehicle. Now, don't just get the numbers and the letters that are on the plate, but you also want to get the state that the plate is registered to. Because if you don't get the state, then technically the plate can be from any state. It's a much more difficult process to locate that vehicle when you don't know the state. So always make sure that you get the plate number and the state. Number 8, you want to get pictures of all vehicles involved. So not just your vehicle, but the other vehicle as well. You'll want to get pictures of your vehicle to show the damage to your vehicle. You'll want to get pictures of the other vehicle to show that if there is damage to that vehicle, to show how that damage is related to the damage in your vehicle, right? If you get pictures of your vehicle only, it just shows that you were in a car accident. It doesn't show that someone else hit you. So make sure that when you are getting these pictures, that you take pictures of not just your vehicle, the other vehicle, and any other vehicles that were involved. So if this is a multi-car accident, get pictures of all the vehicles involved, including the contact information of all the drivers involved as well. To the extent that you can, also get pictures of the scene as well. So if it shows that maybe somebody's fender came off or part of a vehicle came off, get pictures of that. Nobody's taking the fender with them as they drive off the scene, right? So get pictures of any parts of the car that have fallen off your car or the other person's car to ensure that you can document the scene and show that this is where the accident occurred and this is how it occurred. And then number 9, you want to get pictures of your injuries. Now, this is something that you can potentially do on scene. Sometimes you may not even know the extent of your injuries until you get home. Then at that point in time, maybe when you are undressing to take a shower, you see that you have a bunch of bruises, that you have a black eye, that you have other cuts or lacerations on your body. Most of the time, a lot of people experience pain the next day as well. So it's really important that you completely document all your injuries, and to the extent that the injuries are visible, take as many pictures as you need to, because this is going to be as visible as the injuries will ever get. Eventually, if you have bruises, they're going to heal, and it's better to show the bruise in its worst state than to show a healed bruise, because the insurance companies, they will nickel and dime you and say, well, these don't look like severe injuries. Meanwhile, you didn't take the picture of the injury when it was its most severe. And number 10, go to the doctor. I would suggest that you go to see a doctor within 24 hours of the accident. If you can go immediately, then go immediately. But everyone who is in the vehicle should go see a doctor. You never know what has happened or what could have happened. It's really important to have a medical professional examine you. I see a lot of people always worried about their vehicle. They're like, how's my vehicle gonna get fixed? Or, when will my vehicle get fixed? Or will I get a rental car? And oftentimes you could be worried about the wrong thing. Insurance is always going to cover the damage to the vehicle as long as you have insurance, and it covers that. But the insurance typically fights you on the injury to your body, and that is the thing that's actually going to last the longest. If you do not get help immediately, or at least just initially get assessed, you won't know the extent of your injuries, and you could be doing yourself a disservice down the line. Most of the time, when a personal injury lawyer takes on a case where a person has been involved in an accident, most people don't realize that they've been injured. Most people don't realize that they can fully be compensated for any medical treatment that they get. And a lot of people miss this step. So this number 10 is one of the most important things that you can do. Go see a doctor. If the doctor recommends follow-up treatment, follow up with that treatment. You can get every dollar of that back. I know that oftentimes people feel, well, if I do all of this work and I incur all of these medical bills, how will I pay this back? Especially if I hire an attorney. Most of the time, if you do this correctly and you follow the advice of an attorney, the money that you will get back will be more than the cost of the actual medical expenses, and it will also cover the attorney's fees. So not only will your medical bills be paid back, you will have money for your pain and suffering, and there should be money left to also pay the attorney as well. Personal injury attorneys do these cases regularly, and they know the value of your claim. You don't know the value of your claim, and that's why I see a lot of people who handle it by themselves. You typically get lowballed by the insurance company, but once an attorney steps in and they represent you, immediately the value of your claim goes up, because they realize that there's a professional here that can and will file a lawsuit to the extent that the insurance company is not giving you what you're owed. So at a minimum, as an honorable mention, number 11 would be to hire an attorney. An attorney can advise you on what you are owed, what the value of your claim could be, and just potential outcomes here. I've seen a lot of people get the short end of the stick here because they thought they were saving money to represent themselves, but the process is a lot easier when someone else handles it for you, and especially if it's going to be free for you anyway. At the end of the day, you get to get treated, and then you also get compensated for the pain that you experience, the injury that you experience, and then the suffering that you've experienced over an extended period of time. Always check with an attorney, a personal injury attorney, before you ever settle any type of personal injury claim. Most injury attorneys will take on the case as soon as you had the accident. If you wait too long to hire an attorney or to get any type of medical treatment, you may potentially lose out on pursuing your claim. So understand that there's so many rights that are afforded to you, but it's important that you get an attorney on your side as soon as possible. So I hope that information is helpful. If you or a friend or a loved one is ever in an accident, make sure that they follow these 10, 11 steps so you don't get in a situation where you're stuck using your own insurance when the other person was at fault. Their insurance should cover this. So take care. I'll see you next time. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me below or on my website, mydclaw.com. And I'm always happy to answer any further questions that you have. Take care. Stay safe.